for joining us in your car on the way to a closing. So we're going to have a little bit shorter episode today because Alex had a closing that got moved up. Before we get started with introduction to Alex, I'm Kat with Kat Home Chat live, tadabykat 8 infinity sign episode. And we are really, really happy to have Alex McCauley from McCauley Homes join us. And she is going to share with us some pearls of wisdom on several topics, a couple topics on staging. Alex and I have had the pleasure of working together. And this young lady is a new mother and just a realtor extraordinaire. She did here, and she does some really key marketing strategies that she includes to market her properties for top dollar and help folks find their perfect home. That is in part one of the many things that she does to create the success that she has had. So without further ado, Alex, it's all yours.
Hi guys. Happy Friday.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me on the show. Yeah, so people ask me all the time about staging, so I guess whatever questions you have for me, why I do it.
Yeah, so we'll just kind of stay on topic with the what we posted. And so what I'm going to start off first with, Alex, is realtors, you know, homeowners, which really is what my platform is for, all realtors and really anyone who's ever classes continuing education. And it's often done, and I'm going to let you speak to what success, where homeowners will say, well, I don't want to paint that brick red wall or that yellow kitchen or whatever. We'll just give them a credit. Or the carpet's really trashy. We're just give them a credit. And so a question Deem's answering is, can I give credit for things to have them done? And will, you know, how or if, how will that affect the selling price, the offer, and ultimately their equity, in your opinion?
Yeah, so credits sound great in theory, but the reality is when we're busy, you know, if an agent schedules a showing with one of our listings, oftentimes we try to call ahead and let the agent know if there's anything special that we're, you know, the seller's giving or willing to do, but the reality is that doesn't always happen, right? So with a credit, you almost have to relay that from the beginning. Oh, by the way, my seller is willing to give you a credit for carpet or credit for paint. Well, 9 times out of 10, honestly, I've been on the opposite end of that where I'm the buyer's agent and I'm showing 12 houses in one day. I'm not going to remember. I don't remember to pull up my phone and say, oh, yeah, this is the house where they said they'd give you a credit. So to me, everything is first impressions. So when a buyer walks into a house and they don't like what they see, that's the taste that they're going to be left with when they leave. And that's why I feel like staging and getting a home prepped and ready for top dollar to be sold in the beginning is so important. Because you end up paying for it later. So you might as well make the house look as good as possible from the beginning.
And that's a key point. Yeah, you're going to pay for it later because they're going to come in with a lowball offer, right?
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, in this day and age, I'm telling my sellers, this whole world of listing a house a little bit higher and then hoping someone's going to come in lower to come to a negotiation in the middle, that doesn't exist anymore. If a house doesn't look good from the time you walk in and if it's not priced where it needs to be, the reality is you're not going to get offers. Buyers are going to find something else elsewhere. Now, granted, maybe we're in a little bit different of a market right now because of COVID. There isn't as much on the market. So sellers, depending on where you're selling, you might have a little bit of wiggle room with that, but why not just put in the money, get your house looking great?
But it's a gamble. Yeah.
It is. It is. But that's why there's things that we do and we come in, you know, we're not telling you to do a full remodel, but if there's simple, cheaper stuff we can do in combination with staging that will make the house look good.
Absolutely. And, you know, you would never consider selling a car without touching up the chips, without washing it, waxing it, getting out the Starbucks out of the back seat. You know, you just wouldn't, you know, so you know, how we live in our home to sell it and how we market it to sell it, whether it's a car or our home, is two different things. So yeah, there are a lot of economical sweat equity things, you know, just from a declutter and depersonalize and some minor repairs, I think, where sellers can really get a bang for their buck.
Well, and it always cracks me up too, because most of my sellers, I have to help them buy something, right? So I always tell them, like, imagine when you're walking in the homes we're about to look at for you, like, you're a consumer too now. It doesn't go one way, right? Like, you as a seller have to think about you as a buyer, and normally my sellers who seem to be the most difficult and hesitant are also the most picky when it comes to purchasing.
Isn't that interesting? and what I always tell clients is, what I need you to do is I need you to take off your seller hat and put on your buyer's hat, because I know you're out looking at homes with Alex and you're looking at model homes and staged homes and pretty homes. Now you need to look at your home through those eyes. And they just need a different perspective, you know, to actually, you know, go, oh, okay, I get it. So here's something that we try to educate to sellers, and I know you do as well, and it kind of parlays into what we were just talking. And is, did you know, just like the product on a you know, on the shelf store, what are you going to pick? You're going to pick what has the best packaging, the best price, the best wrapper that meets your needs. And it's no different for your home that's now a product. Would you agree with that, Alex?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, and that all, again, like you said, leads back to first impressions, you know? Like, I'm a shopper regardless of what it is. If I like the packaging and I like what I see on a shelf and it's priced well, that's the first thing I'm going to grab. I'm not a consumer who has to, like, weigh all my options. If I see something that's pretty and it works, I'm going to go for it. And I feel like most buyers, this is an emotional purchase. So they go off of the feelings that they have when they first walk into a house. Like, yes, are those people who are going to go home and they're going to make spreadsheets. And if they saw 6 houses that day, are they going to weigh the pros and cons? Yes, I work with a lot of doctors, a lot of lawyers, a lot of engineers. If they're married, at the end of the day, their wife is making the decision, or husband, let's flip-flop that, doesn't matter. But it's the emotional buy that always gets the sale done. And so, yes, the home as a whole has to have a pretty package, and that's where the touch-ups and the staging is so important.
Absolutely. Staging is creating a feeling. And buyers.
And I can give you an example. I walked into a final walkthrough. My buyers are purchasing a home. That's the closing I'm going to go into today. And we did the final walkthrough, and the home was staged and had furniture in it throughout the entire process, right? When we first saw it, when we went under contract, when we had our inspections. So every time they had seen the house, there was a full house of furniture. Yesterday, when we did the final walkthrough, there was nothing. And the husband looks at me and he's like, this does not look like the same house I thought I was buying. And I said, yeah, a house looks very, very different without furniture in it. He's like, I don't even like the house now without furniture in it.
Which is why we tell them to keep it staged as long as possible, because inspectors are people,
right.
You know, all of that, appraisers, you know, as long as possible. You know, when I was in new home sales, you know, we had the model home, of course, it's decked out, you know, they don't feel it. They don't even think it's the same house, you know.
Yeah,
'cause
it's really true.
yeah.
It makes such a difference. And he was like turned off yesterday. I'm like, well, you are close. You are closing tomorrow. So.
You're closing tomorrow. I'm
But,
sorry, it's too late. But
I did remind him it's going to look completely different when you put your furniture back in it.
yeah,
So.
and if they need any help with decorating, you know who to call. We can assist them in putting together a model home.
Yes. Yes.
Look, I get that all the time. Can you make my, so yeah, so definitely staging works. And you know, the emotional part of it that you brought up, Alex, was just so poignant, because I know I've had realtors say, you know, well, I've got, you know, my buyers have, here's my must-haves. I must have these 4 things, and they take them out, they show them, no, why? I don't know. I'll know it when I feel it, you know, is the common response. And you know, that's what it's all about. They don't really know. They're buying with all of their senses, with their eyes, with their nose, with their ears, and those are completely other topics, the senses, the biggest of which of being is their eyes. So they're definitely buying with their senses, which creates the experience and the emotion to make them want to say, you know what, this is my home. I can see myself living here.
I agree.
So I hope your closing goes really well with this with this guy. If you need a gift certificate for a design consultation for them, reach out to me. It might be something that they need.
I'll let you know.
So Alex, I know we're on a shorter window, but I wanted to you to share with the audience what I know you, like us all, have done some pivoting and so forth, and life now as well, and you know, your priorities change, and your priorities, and also how you do business and so forth. But share with the folks right now. I know, you know, all realtors, yeah, I'm working with buyers, I'm working with sellers, etc. But right now, 2 things I'd like you to share with our audience. Number one, what are you looking for? What kind of client are you looking to work with next week? And I know you work with a lot of investors and have a lot of background in that. So what is your optimal client you're looking for, you know, tomorrow or next week? And then the second thing, if you could share maybe 1 or 2 words of wisdom to share with a buyer or seller, you choose, in today's market, that you would want to share with them.
Perfect. Well, I've been so lucky that in 5 years I've really been able to build my business to the point like I don't necessarily have to go search for it anymore. And yes, I've worked hard for it, but I really this year have kind of taken a little bit of a step back because I do have a new baby girl. And I was really worried about that. And yes, is my business a little bit slower than it was last year? It is, but last year was an insane year. No one needs to do almost, over 25 million in business every year. I'm okay that isn't the case this year. But really, I just love my referrals. They just keep coming. And I'm so grateful that I have them. People kind of know when they work with me, I'm about getting the deal done and making them happy. It's not about a lot of extra fluff. So I'm lucky that my clients know me through social media. I will, try to come say hi, but for the most part, they know where to find me, and they give people my number. So the referrals is what makes me so happy, because 99% of the people I work with, they're all family oriented. They're great people.
And that's what's awesome. Yeah, you're building relationships along the way, and and that's where, yeah, you just, I'm like you. I mean, I basically work off of referrals, and they mean just the most to me. I always want to find out. Sometimes they don't know who it was, or we have to go down 3 levels to find out who it was. But I think it's so important to thank, to acknowledge, to be grateful for those people who are your raving fans, because that's who appreciate us, know us, value us. And I tell folks in all industries, if someone doesn't want to do business with you or has a negative raving fans and who do appreciate you and value you and want to work with you. So yeah, you can't speak enough about clients that refer you. It's it's everything, in building a business. So thank you for that. And so talk just a little bit, if we have time, about the investors. For those investors out there, just what is your expertise?
Yes, my investors.
And I know you do a lot of bird dogging.
Yeah, so that was not, like, working with investors was not something that I originally ever wanted to do. I love you all, but it is a lot of work.
Yes.
It's a lot of work. It's very challenging, and the reality is it's a huge risk. And I think my husband Darian and I started doing our own flips, and so I think I've really seen, like, from a consumer standpoint and an owner standpoint, how stressful it can be, but that also has helped me with my investing clients because I'm able to say, look, I get it. I'm doing the same thing you guys are. So I do have a mutual respect and understanding for how nerve-wracking it can be. But I mean, people get really mad at me when I say this. I have built my business off of personal relationships. I'm a very good salesperson, and I know how to sell a house. If an investor comes to me with 10 million spreadsheets and 10 million numbers, I understand they have to do their due diligence, and I can do basic breakdowns for them. But I really tell them there is no rhyme or reason to how this is going to go. We need to pick neighborhoods that are solid neighborhoods. Days on market is under 30 days. You cannot overinvest in the house. And my goal is to get it sold for you at top dollar. And I look at comps, and as long as the comps are in line with where they need to be, I mean, that's all I can really go off of. So I just really warn investors, you got a 50-50 shot no matter how you look at it, and they need to trust us. I do set up great teams for them. I've got great contractors. I try to give them as much guidance as possible, but then they really need to let us do our job. It's hard having a helicopter client who thinks that they know everything about a market. They miss out on a lot of opportunities. And I understand it's scary, but then investing and doing flips probably isn't the best place to put your money.
Yeah, it's not, and it's not for the faint of heart. Just like real estate is not for the faint of heart. Actually, having a staging company is not for the faint of heart. But most investors make the mistake because they end up not being, profitable because they do not allow for the unknowns, et cetera. Are you still, I know last year you were doing staging for all of your clients. And I know, some tell me, you tell me if you agree. I just read that August is the new May for real estate. We're seeing that. We're flooded with, quotes and stages and destages, which tells me that may be true. Are you seeing that we're getting this kind of delayed flux because of the whole COVID thing?
It's a total delay. Because first and second quarter, I had so many sellers that put everything on hold. My business this year has been very buyer heavy, which normally is not the case. But all of a sudden in the last month, I've been getting a lot more calls. Okay, COVID's not going anywhere. The market's super hot. Interest rates are low. Well, let's go ahead and sell. So yes, I think that third and fourth quarter they're going to be very strong quarters for the selling side.
Yes. So I hope we work together soon. I enjoy working with you.
No, we need to do it because I've had most of my stuff's been occupied this year, which is not like me because normally my stuff's all vacant. So
I know that. Yeah. Odd. Yeah, because you and I have done mostly vacant. And you know what's odd from my side too, Alex? I kind of put it out in the universe that I wanted to do what we call multimedia. It was a vintage 1919 home, and we used some of her stuff. That's what we call mixed media. we brought 2 SUV van, $1,000 homes. She got an offer the first weekend, and it had been on the market for 6 months prior, the first weekend. So we are doing more and more also occupied. I'm doing a Zoom after this call, a Zoom consultation. We'll follow up with a hands-on, probably multimedia, a light multimedia, probably just one SUV full of stuff. But you've got a clean slate and you can design the palette and make it a model home look. It's challenging and rewarding to be able to go into what somebody else has and go, let me bump it up and create a wow factor with surface decor, with lighting, with fabulous artwork, and see the results. And, you know, in fact, the lady in Dallas was so thrilled. She's like, I need you to come and decorate my house. But yeah, we've gotten a ton more occupied as well. You know, which is, you know, kept us busy in between. So, can you hear me?
Okay.
Oh, okay, you're still there. You know, I don't know what it's looking like on Facebook, but they changed their algorithms a couple weeks ago. It used to be you saw both of us, but I think now they switch it. Like if I'm talking, you see me. If you're talking, you see you, which is kind of strange. But so thank you so much. I know we have about 5 minutes, and I want to make it to your closing. And
Thank you.
Wish you a seamless and wonderful. We are, you know, as everybody knows, we record these, and then Jeff, my husband and business partner, will tweak them and fly it into our YouTube channel. So it'll have subtitles. It'll have all Alex's contact information should you want to reach out to her for buying or selling. She's your gal. She has an amazing team. So although she's a new mom, you know, she doesn't produce these phenomenal numbers by herself. She has, like myself, she has an A team, okay, and they're right up there with her. So we will have all of that contact information. We are ready to give away another complimentary Zoom. That's $195 value. I'm doing one in 5 minutes. All you have to do is go to my YouTube channel, Tada Staging, I think it's Staging, Tadabykat or Tada Staging by Kat. Because once we get to 100 subscribers, we get our own unique URL. I'm so excited. Just subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified. We put new content on every week, Kat's Tuesday tips, and this home chat live every week. Also walkthroughs for live behind the scenes staging in our warehouse, etc. The only thing you have to do after you do that is shoot me a message on Facebook and tell me you did, so I can add your name to the list, because they don't necessarily tell me unless you have a non-privacy setting or something. Most people have a privacy setting. You will not be deluged with emails. It just simply will tell you if there's something new, and it's up to you to view it or not. Once we get 10 more, we started at 21, we have 42 subscribers. We've given away 2 prizes already, and the next 10 will be giving another complimentary Zoom certificate that again you can use for whatever you choose. So please go to our YouTube channel, help us out. We appreciate it. And thanks again, Alex, for joining us. I'm glad we got my microphone turned on so I could hear you.
Yes, no, thank you for having me. I know, I was like, I can't hear you. And I was like, I know, I've done this 10 million times.
Yeah,
Like, why is this not working?
And Jeff goes, is your microphone on? I go, oopsie.
I was like, I can't hear it.
Oopsie. So everybody, happy Friday. Remember, stay positive, stay hopeful, and stay connected, and connect with us every Friday. Until next Friday, namaste. Have a super weekend. Bye, Alex.
Bye. Thank you.